Hey Eric, it's Becky. I just opened your meeting. If you jump on, I can make you the host.
All right, I will do that. 1 second.
Sure, I'm sorry. I forgot to ask. You're probably trying to finish supper.
That's exactly right.
Sorry.
Where are you now? You're up in Maine, right?
Yep, York, Maine on Nubble Road.
Very good.
Lots of water. Lots and lots of water. And I think we got good snow on Monday, and there's been some more, a little bit today, but I don't know. It's really cloudy. Yeah, Tim said it wasn't. Yeah, he said it's not as much as they thought it would be yet. But it's supposed to rain. He's really worried about it freezing and the wind. Yeah. Yeah, but it sounds like it's been one heck of a knockdown tree.
John Moore was in here today, most of the stuff. Saying,
Yeah, Montague Road and the lake area just came on at 10 after 48 hours.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
There you are. Perfect. Now, I'm going to make you the host. And once you're the host, you can control the meeting and I can leave without trashing the meeting. There you go. Well, you know what? I enabled the waiting room so you don't have to do that. But if you want to close the waiting room and let everybody in individually, if you see some weirdo showing up, it's the little icon in the bottom right. Just click on that and there's a feature says enable waiting room.
Okay. Okay. Some people just join it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Well,
I think that'll work.
have a good meeting, Eric. Take care. I'll see you soon. All righty. Bye.
Are we there? Can you hear us, Mary?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
We're doing okay, thank you.
Happy. Finally got power back, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Hi. Yes, it took a while for the power to come back, but yeah, I'm glad too. It's windy out, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Hey, Eric.
I only got power this morning, so I'm crossing my finger. Running my generator's been a fun thing. Eric,
Eric,
you're on
You
mute.
must be muted.
I'm not a lip reader.
No, not doing lip reading yet.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna say, I have a friend down there who lives where's he down there on the Lakeshore Drive or somewhere. He said he didn't have power till noon or something. He was still off.
Yeah, we only got power. Yeah, it was about noon when we got it back finally.
Yeah. We got nothing here over here in scenic Cooleyville. I didn't even know this was going on. All these emails going back on the town website about, that thanks the highway crew for taking down trees and on this stuff. What's going on? I didn't even know anything was even
Oh my
happening.
goodness. We got a good 8+ inches. Plus it looks like a couple more already out there today.
Oh, that's weird. We didn't get that much down here. Huh? Oh, well.
And then you got all the snow. It snowed, then it sleeted, then it snowed. So it's all ice underneath. Yeah, the roads were pretty bad. There were a lot of trees down out into the roads everywhere around here.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how that's like a couple miles away and it's sort of a
Big
different world.
difference.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, if you drive up to Wendell, there were still trees coming down yesterday evening. Somebody
Well,
came in and said, I couldn't get to the store. I had to drive around this way because another tree came down.
do you remember, were you here in that, do you remember that big storm? Was that, how long was it? 8 years ago? We had that ice storm, 9 years ago, something like that. Remember that ice storm we had?
I do. The National Guard was up there going through the roads and everything, clearing the road, as I remember. Yeah, that was pretty
I
bad.
used to work early in the morning, like 5 in the morning or something, and we got one of those robocalls from Walter Tibbetts, the chief, saying, "Don't go out on the roads." Or I'm like, what's he talking about? The roads are fine. There's a little snow on them. I know. Then I get out on 202 from where I live, and this immediately like, there's big, huge trees across the road. And I said, "Oh well, I guess I know what he's talking about now." Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it happens quite often up here in Shutesbury. We lose power. I mean, I gave a generator to my daughter years ago, and they haven't used it once. They live down in Southwick, so.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah. No.
Got a generator, and just make sure I got to have enough gasoline on hand.
Well, that's it. I've already had to fill up my gasoline tanks twice just because it ran for so long.
And then during the summer, I drain it back out of the generator because it gets stale. So I use it to mow my lawn. So, because you can have it all filled up and everything, and they get stale, and then your generator doesn't run very well. And sometimes the ethanol and the gasoline can gum up the carburetor too. So.
You know what the trick is though? This trick has worked for me. And a Honda guy told me this once because I have a Honda generator. He said, every time you're through with it, close the petcock so it shuts off the gas and drain the carburetor. There's a little screw that you let the gas drain out of the carburetor. So if you do that, it'll start up first time every time.
Yeah.
And that's 15 years ago, and he's right. So and sometimes it sits for months and months and months at a time before you do anything with it. So
there is an additive that you can add that will keep it.
There's also that
2 years.
Yeah, I do that too. I put that in the gas too.
Yeah. That kind of works. My son, who does landscaping, he travels up to New Hampshire and fills his cans up in New Hampshire with ethanol-free gasoline because the ethanol still, even if you're using it all the time and everything, it gums up the carburetors and leaf packers and gums up the equipment. So he travels up and fills his containers up there with ethanol-free gasoline. That's the closest place he can find. It is available in Massachusetts, but where we live, that's the closest place he can find. So.
Yeah, it's available if you go like into those places like Lowe's and all that, but it's like $15 a
Yeah,
gallon.
oh,
It's like,
yeah, yeah.
but I'll tell you one thing, if you're doing that, it's that pre-mixed chainsaw oil stuff.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
worth every penny.
Yeah.
Because it works.
But that's a two-cycle oil gas mix stuff you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, but it's real gas. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like comes in real with ethanol-free gas,
Yeah.
and it works. I mean, it works.
They have it right out of the pump up at a lot of different places, but some of them you have to buy into it for the season in Massachusetts. Other ones you have to buy a large quantity at the places that do stock it and sell it. So, but it's just
Yeah, right.
it's just at a different pump up in New Hampshire, It's a
Huh.
little bit more, but not much, Live free or die.
God, that's right. And here we are setting up all these rules about how to stay out of the lake.
Well, we don't want to, but.
I know, but sure. I guess we're waiting, as far as I know, we're waiting for Kristen, but I mean, I sent out an email reminding everybody. I guess that's all. I know Becky's not coming. I know that.
I sent her an email about something else the other day, and in there I reminded her about the meeting too. So.
Yeah. Well, she said she was coming.
Yeah.
When I talked to her the other day, well, I talked to her last week. Oh yeah, I won't miss it. I won't miss it. So here we are.
It could be she's, got something else going on right now. She is.
Oh no, there's a lot of stuff going on. I think they've been really busy. I think the police and highway department and all that, they've been kind of going nuts with this storm. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah,
We'll give her the benefit of the doubt, Eric.
I understand. We'll wait another minute or two and they'll get going.
All right.
I don't think there's anything that earth shattering here anyway, probably.
What's that big vase sitting
Oh, that's,
there? Oh,
who's that with the vase there with no name? He's got an avatar or something going
That's Frank.
Frank
is
McGinn.
on. Hi.
Frank McGinn. I'm a potter. That's a vase.
I see.
Right.
Very-
Very pretty.
Yeah, it's impressive.
You make those?
Yeah, he makes them. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a potter. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know Joy, who lives up the road from me? Joy, what's her?
Joy Friedman. No, I've met her several times at the fairs and such. I work out at Launch Space with Brianna Drowan at the Launch Space and Maker Space in Orange at the Orange Innovation Center.
Oh, I.
They're still saying it's supposed to turn to rain anyway, whatever we get tonight, right?
It's raining out beside my house now. It's
Oh,
like
is it raining?
Like a misty drizzle.
Oh, yeah, God, do I hate that.
Yeah.
That's the worst expression in the English language, wintry mix. But, really,
sounds-
please, don't tell me. I don't want to know about that.
It sounds nice. Sounds very
Yeah.
nice. It's a wintry mix.
Right.
Sounds pretty till you try to drive on it.
Oh, or shovel it or anything. It's just of absolutely no, at least snow. Like some people hate snow, but at least snow, somebody can ski on it or snowmobile on it, or they can do stuff with it.
Yeah.
Wintry mix. I mean, you can't do anything. Just breaks telephone wires and causes car accidents. It's horrible.
And it clogs up your snowblower too.
That too. Good point. Well, matter if it starts, it won't turn once it starts. Well, I'm gonna say we should get rolling and at least,
All right.
approve the minutes and stuff like that. And then if Kristen shows up, she shows up. She doesn't. I think we sort of know how she feels anyway. So here we go. We're starting the meeting. So I guess first thing is review those fantastic notes of John's from the 11th, 17th. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
It
very
says here
much.
it's 11th on my sheet, but it was the 17th, wasn't it?
Was it?
Oh, no, that's my thing. It's the 17th. Yours
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
11th. You're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. any comments on those minutes? Anybody want to change anything? I thought they were fantastic.
They look good to me.
All
Fine,
right.
Motion to
So
approve,
I think we need a motion to approve.
motion to approve.
second,
Second. All those, any discussion about those? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
aye,
No, I sent around some notes for the 17th, that site visit. We didn't have to post that as a meeting, by the way. Both Gail and Becky said, not Grace and Becky said, if it's a site, if it's a committee having a site visit, you don't have to post it. That's the rules. So we weren't posted. So we don't really need minutes from it. But I just thought I'd write everything down just so that we knew, I knew what at least I thought we were talking about that day. So if anyone else has anything they want to add or change or about that on the 17th, those ones from the 17th, we could do that. Just so we all are on the same page.
so do you want to take them item by item, like about no parking signs in north entrance?
Sure,
and
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, I mean, I think the idea was we'd sort of across where Howie parks on that west side of the road there, we need at least one more no parking sign, because it's sort of like a big gap there, that's what we're saying.
Mhm.
And then on up toward the driveway at the top of that hill, we want a bunch more, just so we, again, people don't park there.
That's right. And that's something, irregardless of this, that's something that people have been asking for. A
Yes, it
while.
is. And several people said people do it. I know people, I was driven by it. People do it anyway. They put it out on their lawn, they put these signs out. So
yeah,
I think we'd be
Yes.
doing people a service if we did it.
That's true.
I guess we should maybe figure just how far up to go. I mean, I guess we could ask the people that, you know, up the road there, how far they want us to go. We could post that, I don't know, as long as far as up the road as we want to, I guess.
the only
Um,
problem the only problem you're gonna run into is people not wanting a sign in their front of their house, you know,
Right,
to post and all that, but it have to,
Right.
go at least as far as Lake Drive.
That's what I
right,
was gonna
right.
think. You think up to Lake Drive and then it won't.
Yeah. that's what
It's
I was
only like
thinking,
one
yeah.
house it would be in front of.
Right,
We could ask them and see, but
right.
I don't know.
And that's Ryan's? Is that how it
No,
goes?
no, no. It would be up to Ryan's driveway and then it becomes Lake Drive. And then on the other, going further up Logs Pond, that's where the guy puts his own little signs out.
Oh, yeah,
His,
okay.
his low ones. I don't know if he'd want a post with a sign in front of his house or not.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. He doesn't have, he could take, he takes those down and they end
Yeah.
up, they aren't there now, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
And that, you know, he may not want to have them. That's a good point. We could ask. The thing on the north entrance was, and here's a change I came up with later. I was talking with Kristen, and I'm not saying we should do it. We could talk about it, but instead of a chain, she was suggesting we have, I guess you call them like those I call them like those Quabbin style gates, if you know what the gates are that go into the Quabbin.
Like the state has.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and we could use,
One-
that
one
looks a
part
little
across.
more, looks a little more formal than a chain, looks a little more serious, like these people are serious.
That's true.
Anyway, we can talk about that, but that occurred to me later. I was actually talking to Kristen, we were talking about it after the other day.
Yeah.
And she said, well, no, she said, that's what I was thinking when I was saying, she said, she was talking about a gate. She said, that's what I meant by a gate. I said, oh, well, that's different than what was in my mind when we were talking about it the other day
Right.
at the lake. So, anyway, we can talk about that. And then just change the sign to read no trespassing, no public access. Whether or not we should say subject to fines. Kristen was going to look into that. I don't know what was possible. I don't know what she figured out, but that's,
Yeah,
she did look
I
into
think
it.
it should say no public access and then list whatever fines we determine.
Right, okay. And then the other thing I was wondering is whether or not those signs should be bilingual. What if, I don't know what people think about that, but we could have it in English and Spanish, because it seems to me there's a lot of Spanish folks that use the area there too. So I don't know, I could go either way, not personally, but we can figure out that too. The south entrance. If we use those gates, those are, well, the Quabbin style gates, whatever you want to call them. I mean, I guess we could leave it open for Howie's truck and then start the gate at that point. We want, instead of a chain. The gates, the idea in my mind was the gates would kind of replace the chains, but there'd
Yeah.
still be like an opening there, right?
Yeah,
Does that still make sense?
you're talking about one like the state has, one of those.
Yeah.
Just a bar across.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean, Derek, over at the state park, how it is? It's just one big bar that just swings. Actually, they swing inward, not outward towards where you're coming from, but it's like a big bar that's connected on one end and.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. I think
and
we're
it
talking about the same
swings
thing.
in.
because they have a lock on theirs, but I don't think we need I
Well,
don't know.
I don't think we,
I don't think you need a lock unless we find out later that you do.
Yeah, well, yeah, we could go that, yeah, that's right, until we
if
find
you
out later.
ordered, if you did get one, you'd probably find that it has a thing built in, so you could put a lock
Yeah.
on it anyways, and you
Yeah.
could decide whether it ends up being necessary or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, my guess is they'd be the ones to talk about where do you get these things? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, where they must know how to do it, where to
Yeah.
get
See if
them.
see if they got an extra one laying around.
You never know. They might, I mean, there's a gate right up the road from where I live on New Boston Road. You go down just past my house and there's a gate. And you know, this well, the same type of thing, the Quabbin style thing we're talking, bar,
Right.
and it's locked and it does just swing open. They open
Right.
it for hunting season and all that.
Yeah.
And then what else? Keep the present dam keeper parking only sign or one like it anyway. And add a sign that duplicates the one on the other side saying no access, fines, whatever. Same sign, Dave. Just make the same sign. And then acquire an easement with the Zavahuas. Why can't I say that word? I'm sure not the only person in that boat, right? And then the easement, the idea was we'd have to include a liability. I think the word is indemnity. We'd indemnify them, I think is what the legal term is, where we basically say, you're not liable. And if anything happens on that land, you're not liable for it.
Oops, I think you froze.
You don't want to buy it, then you get rid of all the problems.
I think we could, but I mean,
Because
my sense is they didn't want that. He wasn't interested in that. That's what I thought, what I was talking.
But
Yeah,
should your
now you're back.
recommendation, just to be in agreement with Howie, and I am, should a recommendation be to the select board to have discussions with him about the pluses and minuses for not just the town, but for him to rid himself
Right.
of liability, you know? And then if he still doesn't want to, then talk about easements or anything. I mean,
Yeah, we could. I mean, here's the other thing. Just speaking from the town, it would cost money, obviously, to buy the land.
yeah,
And
that's
my
true.
sense was he might offer us an easement for free or for cheap because he understands that the town needs access to the dam.
I don't think we should buy the land, but I think we need to ask Donna, you know,
Yeah,
what
I
would the
think
draft,
we
what would
wanna-
the draft
wanna-
look
yeah.
like? You know,
Yeah.
I think an easement with no costs would be our first question. Can we do that? And if she says no, I think. So who's contacting Donna to talk about it?
Well, I would think once we make a recommendation to the select board about what to do, then
Okay,
that wheels will
Then they would
start
take
at
care.
that point. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
how fast the wheels will turn is God only knows. The wheels will, but you know, then yeah, the select board would talk to them or Donna or
Mhm.
Becky or however. I'm not really sure who would do it. I think Becky and Donna would both be involved. My guess is.
Mhm.
But the problem I have with it though is I get the sense that he wants to, you know, it's easier and maybe it's easier for the town too and everything to grant an easement. But how does that keep people from going over his property? Well, I know we're going to try to keep them off the property, but doesn't he still have liability for people not members of the town going over the property? He's not granting an easement to everybody. He's only granting it to us. I just wonder if it's in his best interest and all options haven't been presented to him about that, you know?
That's
Isn't he
a good
still-
guy, yeah.
Isn't he still liable?
He would, yes, he would still be responsible and have to post his own private property and be responsible for whoever went on it. We're not taking
Right.
that on.
But that it, but
We're just, you're
I
right.
think when
It-
When I'm talking about the indemnifying or making him not liable, I'm thinking more like how he's walking down that path and he falls and breaks his leg or something, you know, where did
What?
that? Just an
It would
idea.
just, yeah, just for town people who need
Yeah,
to
for
get there for
people that are
maintenance
working
or,
there on behalf of the town or the town's agents, whatever the
Mhm.
legal term is. They are not, they are not liable for anything happening to them.
he's
Yeah,
not.
you're right. Right, yeah, but can't some guy walking down there to go fishing illegally at this point, he falls and breaks his leg. I think, yeah, we're not responsible for that. I agree. Unless we own the land. You're right about that.
So I
I
just
don't
would
don't,
know.
be, well, I would go for not owning the land, you know?
Right. We could run this by Donna and see what Donna says. I mean, what's the fairest, best way to do it? I mean, whatever works for everybody's. I think the real goal to me is to have an easement one way or the other. Either we own it or we have an easement
right?
in perpetuity, as they say, or whatever, like forever. Basically says, no, we put this, if it's an easement, it goes in his deed. You know, if he sells the property 10 years from now, if it's in the deed, it's like he can't take it out of it. You know, that's how those things work. You can't take it out of the deed. I would think we'd want to do that. We want to sort of solve this problem once and for all, one way or the other.
With an easement,
Yes.
with an easement, can he build on it? Or put something up, or like a garden shed or something like that? And.
As long
and
as it doesn't obstruct, as long as it doesn't obstruct where we define the easement to be.
I think, yeah,
Also,
I think if he, yeah, go ahead.
because it's like he's gonna have a piece of land he can't use, but he's got to pay taxes on it.
Right. Well, yeah, maybe we can, yeah, maybe, well, that's a question for Donna. Maybe we
Yeah.
can have it so he doesn't have to pay tax. I don't know. It's a good question. That's a good
Yeah.
question.
I think
Um,
typically when they do easements, a lot of properties have easements for wires or they have to go across that, you can't build in the easement path, but
Yeah. It does seem like you're right. We should ask Donna what's the best way to do it. What's the best way to do it? I mean,
Sure.
yeah, it's a good question. Those are good questions.
So actually, the scope of this committee and our recommendation should be that we're recommending that we maintain access one way or another, and then you're just gonna hand it over kinda to those people, the select board and the town council to figure and work with Zabarula over what would be the best way to achieve that. Because we can't decide that.
Right. No, we can't. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. I mean, yeah, we would just make that recommendation that we think that land should, one way or the other, either by easement or by ownership, should be, we have access to it only for the dam keeper and for equipment to fix the dam if it needs servicing. That's the only reason we want it. Okay, well, we can change that, I guess. Well, fines, Kristen was gonna look into what other towns do that have similar situations. I'm not quite sure what towns those would be. I mean, I know there's some dams over like in Whately has one for the Northampton Reservoir, and they're around, so maybe other towns. I think the idea was that maybe other towns have already gone down this road. It'd be nice to have something similar. Without her here, I don't know what you found out. And I wrote down, I think this is true, that annual town meeting will have to approve any of this because it would be a bylaw change and all. It would have to be, I think
Right.
that's true. The other thing, I wrote, amend or eliminate any signs that are currently at the dam that are now incorrect. And I don't know if that's true. I don't even know what those signs would be. I'm just said if they exist. you know, those ones like no access, for example, if that sign's one of those down there, I mean,
It says use at your own risk, you
well,
know?
exactly, that's a classic example of take that sign down.
Yes, that's the one we don't want. So you guys
Um,
keep freezing. Okay, now I can hear you. You
yeah.
guys keep freezing up and then I can't hear what you're saying. Am I,
Yeah, we're not having a problem, so maybe it's on your end.
you're not having a problem either? Okay. I
No.
can see me and I can talk, but you guys keep freezing up. So it's like,
It's colder
okay,
over here.
their mouths are moving.
Right.
Oh, goodness.
And the other thing is just future actions, just if this, none of this works, I guess we'll go back to the drawing board, but our idea is to sort of do it as, what's the word, as lightly as possible, basis, you know, we want to be firm about, you know, child discipline, whatever. You want to be firm and tell them what to do, but you don't want, you know, don't want to hit them too hard kind of thing. So, I mean, that's why I was thinking like those bars versus the chains. It just sort of looks like we mean business a little bit. We didn't go down to Aubuchon's and buy a chain for $9.99. We put up a bar across there and said no access. You know,
Right.
we were serious about it. That was Kristen's idea, and I think I'll go with that idea myself.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
And we're not talking fencing
No.
around.
No.
And I think that's a good thing too. Yeah, you do the least restrictive and try to work your way up based on what you want to achieve. So,
Yeah. I mean, I think we figure out how much space Howie needs to park, and that's where that bar would go, wherever. So
Yeah.
he could drive in and park there, and the bar's in front of him. And then the other one, we'd put it right at the street, the bar, or the road where the road goes by, in
Yeah.
parallel with the, like right along with the guardrail. It would seem to me ideally, maybe that stuff would all get put in when they do the culvert, I mean, because they're gonna be tearing all that stuff up anyway, right?
Yeah,
I would guess.
yeah, because they gotta make it wider for even the guardrail. They say the guardrail's not enough dirt around it.
Ah,
Supposed to be.
okay. Okay.
so where do we
Well,
stand
so-
here now? Was this supposed to be our final meeting, or you have to?
Well, I mean, unless anybody can think of, it's nice hanging out with everybody. But unless,
I mean, I think we're pretty clear on our expectations, so send them forward and see what people say, and then if we have to answer back, we'd have another meeting, right?
yeah, I mean, maybe what I'll do is I'll sort of amend this thing right here that we were just talking about, this document, and just send it around and see if anybody objects to it or has an idea.
Mhm.
And then basically just give that to the select board and say, here's our report, here's what we want should happen. I mean, I do think, well, the one thing we'll have to figure out is the fines when we should probably make recommendations on that when we hear from, do we want to make recommendations about that or just leave that up to Kristen and whatever? That if we do.
Well,
Yeah.
you could make the recommendation being Kristen will that we want fines based on what Kristen finds out is reasonable to do or
Okay.
allowable.
That's okay. That's cool.
Mm.
That's fine.
And then if it's
That's
too
fine with
low, we
me.
can always up them. You know,
Yeah, if it's too low or too high or too whatever, you know, the town, as I say, the town meeting's gonna have to approve them anyway, so they won't be
Mhm.
us or the select board that are really deciding them. We'll just be suggesting it for the town meeting. And then I guess I'll put in there too that we would recommend that we want the land to be permanently in the town's access to it. However, that's however we do that. And I can mention the things that came up, like whether or not taxes and all that, you know. Yeah, I mean, I would assume the taxes on that piece of land they gotta be a couple $100, few $100 a year, I would assume. I don't know, but I guess they would be.
I think they're more than that in that area.
Well, it just means that section, if you section that.
I mean,
section
just that
up-
one
Yeah.
little roadway. I don't know. I don't know what they
I
do.
still say I think it's more than
Yeah.
Well, you might be right. You know better than I do what's going on down there.
people on the lake are paying quite a bit
Yeah,
for
It's waterfront.
square foot.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
making any more waterfront.
That's right.
I think it's still a question of, the easement. We all still pay taxes whether there's an easement or not on most
Oh,
of
yeah.
the property.
Right. Are there any other easements on any other properties down in the lake? I don't think there are there? I
So
don't
the
think
one
there are.
easement I know is like right next to my house. There's between my house and Walter's, there's actually an easement path that goes up to Wendell, up to, I forgot the name of the road already, but goes up. So it's actually owned by the
Oh,
Lake
Wendell
Wyola
Road.
Association. It doesn't go as far as Wendell. It goes to,
Oh,
Watkins Strait. So
Yeah,
people can
yeah,
walk
yeah,
down, but it's an
yeah.
easement. I mean, the property is owned by the Lake Wyola Association, but there's a permanent easement.
Yeah.
On that, and they pay taxes or whatever they pay on it.
Yeah.
But it's a walkway for people to walk down between the two properties to the lake. That's the one I know about. There might be others, but I just know
Right.
about that one because it's right next to my property.
Yeah. Well, I think we just present it to Donna, as this is what we want, and
Yeah.
we can,
And we
They
need an
can just-
easement and then she can figure out what's the
we need
legal
at least
best
an
way to
easement. We
do.
just want to permanently be able to have access there. And
Right.
if we have to pay for it, fine. If we can do it without paying for it, that's fine too. That's
Yeah.
better probably for us. But
Yes.
we're certainly willing to pay for it if that's what's required.
I mean,
Okay.
technically, I suppose, the town has to have access for the dam in case there's repairs or accidents or whatever. So, I think technically they probably have a right to an easement. Now, I'm not saying we
Yeah.
should go that way, but I think there has to be a way for them to get there if there's an issue.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. I should have gone to law school. Yeah,
Yeah, all of
No.
us should have. We'd be a lot richer these days.
I don't know.
Too many of them went to law school.
That's
Yeah.
probably true. Well, there's an old joke about like this one lawyer in town, they're poor. If there's 2 lawyers in town, they make a good living. If there's 3 lawyers in town, they're all rich because they're all suing each other.
Yeah. Mhm.
Anyway, enough lawyer jokes. Anything else we got to figure out for time? I can do that, send it around, and whatever. People just shoot an email back to me and say good, bad, or change that, or that's fine with me. That works.
Well, that's fine with me. I'm just wondering, I think you're presenting this to the select board and we had 2 charges. And one of them was about access to the dam, and I think that's pretty cut and dried in its need.
Yeah.
And its importance. It's the other issues about keeping people off the dam where, and you are a select board member, where there's something within whatever it is that we finalize to send to the select board have to emphasize our reasons why. I mean, the reasons why to get the land are pretty obvious, but the reasons why the big hole that's in front of the dam that could suck you under and the big drop off on the back of the dam you could fall off of maybe have to be presented as part of the, you have to give you reasons why we're recommending to keep everybody out of there. Because we don't really want to keep everybody out of there, but I don't see how you keep everybody safe without keeping everybody out of there.
That's kind of, I think everybody feels that way.
Yeah, so,
Nobody really wants to do this, but we kind of feel like if we don't do it, someone's going to get hurt or killed or something. It's going to be bad for them and bad for the town, bad for everybody. So that's why we're doing it.
so does the select board work just on this, whatever documented paper you send before them, or are they going to ask for us to come and give further explanation, or you don't know at this point?
I don't know. I can ask Rita. She's ready to go away for a week or so, but I think probably my guess is the select board's sort of on the same page anyway. You know what I mean? I'm
Okay,
guessing, and that people will understand why we want to do this and all that stuff.
So
I
I
guess we
think
could always go ahead.
Well, I think that, so if we send out those recommendations through, Eric is there if they have questions to explain why. I don't know if we need all of us to be there, but he's the representative, so he should be able to.
Yeah, which everybody could be there too.
Yeah,
that's the
we
beauty
could
of
all,
these Zoom meetings. You can always zoom in for 15 minutes and be there for that part of the
Mhm.
meeting and leave, and
Yeah.
I see. Okay,
they're open meetings, so anybody can go.
all right.
So, and I can let you, I'll let everybody know when I know it's gonna be in the agenda. I'll send a little thing up saying, hey, blah, blah, blah. We're on for this night. Well, we can all go to it. That's fine.
All right.
All right.
Can you go to
Hey.
select board meetings or do you have to just do Zoom?
You have to just do Zoom now.
Yeah,
Well, whether that'll change, I don't know, or when it'll change, I don't know. But right now, everything's Zoom. But I think the only meeting I know of that isn't Zoom all the time is that Lake Wyola meeting, right? That,
yeah.
are there any other ones?
Yeah, Lake Wyola is a hybrid meeting still. though.
Yeah, hybrid.
It still
to
has
be
the
honest-
Zoom. It's just some of the people like going to town hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That hybrid, well, how you've been there too. The how those
Yeah.
meetings seem a little late. They don't, something's got, we got to change when the generator charges or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. It's like really, here we are out there. You know.
Yeah, I think the Zoom is good. I mean, if we were going in person for this tonight, I'm not sure with the weather and the roads, how many of
No.
us would actually be able to make it today,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I'm-
know?
Yeah, no, good.
I'm talking
question. No,
about the spring and summer.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
but you are right. So hybrid would be nice for every meeting, I guess, but that's easy for me to say. These are one of the few meetings I ever attend, so.
yeah. I attend enough meetings that I come to actually like the Zoom thing, but I understand that people wouldn't. I get that completely.
Yeah.
And
I don't
it's,
have any
yeah.
kids. I don't
Yeah,
have any
right.
kids to teach me.
No, I do, but they're not here. They're old enough, so they're not here. They're long gone. But the idea that, you know, you don't have any idea what I'm wearing underneath this, you know, man.
Oh, and we don't want to know either.
You don't want to know, yeah. Just kidding, but seriously, that is,
We're
you
supposed
could
to
be in
wear
a meeting in your
clothes,
pajamas.
Yeah,
Someone told me they saw that woman Rachel Maddow, when she had her show there in the news and all that stuff, and they went to it because somebody I know went to the show, and she actually was sort of all dressed up top, and at the bottom she had like on her pajamas or something. It's like, but she's on the camera, you don't know, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway. Well, anything else we got to figure out? I'll send that around. I'll do that and send it around, and
sounds good.
cool.
All right, I'll make up
All right.
minutes of what we discussed, and that the assignment is dumped in your lap, so to speak, and
Yeah.
we'll take it from there.
Don't you worry, I'll dump it in their lap. We'll just keep
Sounds
kicking
good.
the can down the road.
Yeah,
Do I hear a motion to adjourn then?
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Oh, Tom has a question. Tom,
Oh, okay.
quick, get in here while we can.
Hi, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, and I don't mean it to take long. If it would take long, it can go another time. But I understand why the land access issue came up with the discovery of who owns what land around the dam. But I was just curious if there had ever been a history of the no trespassing or people's public access to the dam come up in the past that people might have known about. It's just surprising a little how it might not have ever come up before. And again, if it's a long story, it doesn't matter, but I was just curious if it had ever been a discussion that went to this level.
So the discussion around the dam has come up at various committees as well as with the police for the safety issues and the things that people have been doing on the dam. So this is an issue people have been talking through on different committees as to what they should do and put up signs or have the police go. And so it's not a new issue. It's been pushed forward even more so by knowing that the land isn't ours. But
What
the
hap-
issue's been,
what happened was the Zavaruas wanted to do some work under their deck in their house. And conservation required them to do a survey. They thought they owned part of the road, but they found out they owned all of it. So they owned all the access to the dam. And that's what's created our problem here.
And it's also, even if we didn't do anything about who should be out there or whatever, there is no more safe access to the dam unless you cross his property. And he's already put up private property signs. You can't have people going on the other side over by Glenn and Jeanette's and crossing over the stream. You certainly couldn't do that in the spring. It's brought the whole safety issue to the forefront. I actually was concerned about the things that were going on. I think we're going on 3 years ago now, and sent a letter to the select board about the activities that were taking place out at the dam. We've been out there talking to skateboarders, people on their bicycles. A lot of it has increased since the state park came in, and it's just continued to expand into boating and birthday parties, or where swimming is taking place.
Barbecue grills.
Barbecue grills have actually been dragged out there. And so it's not just the fishermen who, for the most part, are responsible, and we're not too worried about them falling off the back. But then that brought the issue up of, well, who's responsible if somebody does fall off the backside? And so that's where we are. So the discussion's really been going on with me anyways, at least for about 3 years that I've been involved in it.
Well, it really started when we improved the dam.
Yeah.
Prior to the work they did on the dam, only fishermen were down there. And once they improved the dam, which the dam is now considered a spillway all the way across, because the state said that the spillway was not large enough for what the 100-year flood. And so they made the dam so actually it can go over the whole dam now. So you can't put obstructions on the backside, because then you're creating a dam behind the dam. So
Thank you so much. That really helps.
Yeah, I think it's just what the problems, if you want to call them, have just sort of got bigger and bigger and bigger as time has gone on. I think that's really, but if it's been talked about for a long time,
Yeah.
doing something. And it's true, John you wrote that letter 3 years ago, or 4 years ago about, why don't we do something,
Now, well, I really just want to put on notice of what we had noticed, that's
Right.
all. It's not
Right.
my decision or anybody else's decision, but I want, select board members like you who live in a different section of town
Yeah, no, it's.
to know what's
the only
going
way I
on
know.
down there, that's all.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I think, we just decided, well, we meaning the select board just decided, and I was, I guess, probably the dominant one, just said, here's this letter, let's not kick it down the road any further, let's try to figure this out. So here we are.
So
Anyway.
I'll make another motion to adjourn. How's that?
Thank you,
I would
Tom.
second that.
All those in favor,
Aye.
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 when you see Kristen, we drive her off the road and say, where were you?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We'll flag her down.
All
Yeah,
right.
flag her down.
All
All right,
right.
talk to you
Thanks,
later.
everybody.
Thanks a lot so much.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.